Welcome back to From the Hood to Hair, episode 7. I'm Anthony Montoya, and this is my journey, and I'm glad you guys are along for the ride with me. When I first stepped into hair, I thought the hardest part would be learning the skill. But by now, I had realized that skill wasn't the hardest part. Belonging and staying was. Somewhere along the way in my journey, something changed for me. Hair stopped feeling like it was something I was trying to do and started feeling like something that was becoming part of me. It didn't happen overnight, but it started to happen quietly. Through repetition, through showing up, through small wins when no one else noticed. Even though being in the hair industry had a lot to teach me, and I came with a handful of skills that I didn't even realize I was prepared with, one day it all clicked for me. I was going to get as much out of the hair industry that I was willing to put into it. For me, the hair industry became a mirror, something to reflect back to me all the things that I needed to work on and all the things that I needed to improve in order to grow myself into the artist that I wanted to be. My calling to do hair was so much so that I was willing to get over all of my social anxieties in order to connect and work with people to get to do their hair. Coming from the hood and being a hairstylist, especially not in an area that I grew up in, I realized really quickly that I'd have to adapt myself in order to survive and make a clientele for myself. And in order to even do that, it was going to take some personal work in order for me to be that person that I envisioned for myself. The hair industry became a place where if I wanted it bad enough, I was going to be willing to do that work. Before this, every room felt like a test. How I spoke, how I carried myself, how much of my true self I really showed everyone. I was still code switching, still adjusting, and still trying to blend. But now, I wasn't just learning technique, I was learning trust. Trust in my hands, trust in my eyes, trust in that I really belonged here. I realized I was in the right place when I felt myself getting stuck in an industry that I absolutely loved. I was a couple of years into it. I wasn't really finding myself growing any more than what I had learned in order to start assisting. It had gotten to a point where I was getting desperate for something more than what I was doing. Being an assistant wasn't enough for me. I had to start developing my own skills to do everything that a hairstylist needs to do in order to be successful. I realized that I couldn't just be dependent on the senior stylist that I was assisting. I had to seek out the education that I was looking for. I had to go out and find ways to grow my skills so that I could be independent and have my own chair. When I had gone the traditional route of going to college, doing that was definitely something that I was not into. I was taking my required classes, no more, and maybe just a little bit less in the days that I didn't even go to class. And so I say that to say that that's what made me realize I was in something that I absolutely had a passion for. When taking one class wasn't enough, when taking two classes just didn't cut it, I had to get myself in as much education, get certified in any and every aspect I could absolutely find. I became starving for education. So that's when I knew that this was for me. No one had to push me. No one had to make me. No one had to force me to better myself. It was something that was calling to me within me that I had to do. I owed it to myself. As an assistant, you're dependent on your mentor or the stylist that you're assisting in order to teach you tips and tricks and how to do what we do behind the chair. If you're working in a salon that is encouraging of you to grow and become independent, then you will find yourself as an assistant becoming maybe a senior assistant or maybe a junior stylist. However it works in your salon, there should be a ladder system that you can climb in order to get to that independent state of being your own hairstylist. Hair became something more than I was learning. It became something that I returned to even when it was hard. Even when I doubted myself, even when I didn't feel seen yet, because now it wasn't about proving anything. It was about building something. I didn't wake up one day and think to myself, I'm a hairstylist. But I did start notice that I was starting to think differently, paying attention to details that I never noticed before. Hair wasn't just something that I did anymore. It was something that was shaping how I moved through the world. I started to see things as a hairstylist And it became very clear to me as I moved through public places. I no longer was moving through the world aimlessly. I was now mapping out and charting everybody that I came across in public. I couldn't help myself. I was overwhelmed with consulting the world. And this is when I understood something important. Walking through the door wasn't about becoming somebody new. It was about allowing something that was already there. Hair didn't erase where I came from. It gave me somewhere to go. This is when it stopped feeling like an experiment and started feeling like direction. In the next episode, I'll talk about what it felt like to take real responsibility in this space and what it meant to be trusted. Thank you for watching. Make sure you follow and subscribe for weekly episodes.